Get on your feet, Tiger fans. Let's get loud. Let's go. Let's get active. Let's go.
All right, so you got recruited by Rick Stockstill, who recruited Woody. Seems like he recruited
everybody.
everybody.
Yeah.
He was the man. And I heard the story. I think it was on Larry Williams' podcast. Just listening to how that transpired with Coach Bowden coming down and getting a little too comfortable in the living room. Your mom had to set him right. But I guess talk about how that experience is, and I know that the landscape has changed a little bit with recruiting, but just talk about that experience and your decision to say, okay, I want to choose Clemson.
Well, what's crazy is a lot of people don't know the high school championship has been played in Williams-Brice for the longest. And I said, man, one day I'm gonna play here, whether it's college or high school. And then when I got my shot to get recruited, Buddy Pugh was a running back coach. Buddy had come down to see me one afternoon. My coach told me to come to the office, so I come to the office and we got to talking. And I shook his hand. I said, I appreciate you for your time, and I walked out, and that was pretty much about it. So I don't know if my coach sold me to Clemson or, the story was told to me that Buddy Pugh said I was too small to play in the SEC. So I took that with the with a grain of salt, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to Clemson. So, Rick Stockstill is probably most aggressive recruiter, probably one of the best recruiters I had at the time. And the dude, man, he just did everything right. Not only did he ask how my folks were doing, if he met somebody at the game that was with me, he remembered their name, and it just felt like he was in touch. You know what I mean? A lot of people just say, "Oh man, I'm gonna send this kid a letterhead, a couple programs, and tell him he's gonna be on it one day." But nah, this dude, he went above and beyond, and I still talk to Coach Stock to this day. He's just a genuine person and just a great guy, man. And you see the way he interacts with not only you but other people that you're around, and you just think this guy is like all in. So, for lack of a better term, like I said, Dabo uses that all in, but Rick was all in. And now I will say this. Now they did sell me a rib. They was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna be the only running back we take in this class." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So they ended up picking up Dwayne Coleman, and they didn't know if Dwayne was going to pass clearinghouse, so they didn't really lie. But at the same time, I was like, "All right, that's gonna be me." Ty Hill, Kyle Browning, Yusuf Kelly, and they've got a bunch of other guys. Bernard Rambert was there at the time. I think they had 2 or 3 other running backs there. Again, it was a crazy time, but they came to the house. I'm trying to remember what it was. So they had went to either Charleston or they were down in Low Country, and they were coming back up. So it was late afternoon. We had just had dinner. And it was probably, I don't know, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And so they come in the house. It's my parents sitting on the couch. I'm on the ottoman there, and then they're on the other couch, and we're just kicking back, watching TV, talking about how their trip was. How's the recruiting trail been? How's the team going to be? All that small talk, and then Coach Bowden, for some odd reason, he just got comfortable. I mean, kicked his shoes off. He laid back on the couch and put his arms behind his head and put his feet up on the coffee table.
Yeah.
And you just don't do that. You just I don't know.
Pass me that remote.
Yeah, not off gate. You know what I mean? You just don't come and just pull up and just put your feet up, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know where he thought he was, but again, Black Mama don't play that. So she said, "Excuse me," and then that was it. But I think Rick caught on, and he was like, "Well, guys, it's time for us to get on the road. It's been a long trip."
Time to hit the old dusty trail.
Yeah, trying to hit the road. So, but anyway, to this day, she'll never forget that story, and she never got over that either. So every time she would come watch me play, she was like, "I ain't going to sit up there with Tommy Bowden and watch you ride the business."
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't coming up there to see him or nobody else. So, but nah, she'll never forget that. That's one of the really cool stories, especially about Rick, because he knew the writing was on the wall, and he actually apologized for Coach after that, and like I said, the rest is history. But yeah, that's just a funny little story, man. And like I said again, I probably would have gone to Carolina if they would offer me, but they didn't. And like I said, that just added another coal to the furnace. You know what I mean? So.
Yep.
It ended up being pretty good, and I ended up being okay, because like I said, but I always wanted to play in William Bryce. It was kind of one of the things for me is like, leave here with something, get you something. I need a ring or something, but we never were able to make it past the first round of the playoffs. So it ended very, very short.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. I think you made up for it in 2004. With this, and we about to get into that.
Yeah.
About the Clemson days, man. So yeah, let's throw it to the Clemson times.
So I think right after the Malice in the Palace, right, Indiana, they had
right
that
after.
the little situation, or maybe before, after, I can't remember. But
it was that Saturday, yeah. So it was that Saturday. That game was Friday, yeah.
Yeah. So Clemson, South Carolina had a little similar incident. And I remember Yusuf Kelly, I think they had his picture in the paper.
Yeah. With the helmet had that's classic, man. Classic.
And I'll tell you that the rivalry between Clemson and South Carolina, we really take that at heart over here at Uplayedtho, right? So we have a few friends that, they go back and forth. You might be a Florida State fan and a South Carolina fan, but over here it's Clemson, right? We don't
Yeah.
the fence.
Yeah.
But so in 2004 you had a great game. By the way, I think you ran for 125 yards in that game. And we washed South Carolina. It was 29-7, something like that.
Before the brawl.
Before the brawl.
For the brawl, yeah.
Before everything got cut off, you know what I mean?
I know things got chippy at the beginning of the game. And then in the fourth quarter, I think maybe it was a sack or something, and then it just kind of led to kind of talk about how that whole transpired, like during that game, what led up to that and how, because it was a great game for Clemson. So
yeah,
talk through that.
I think the biggest thing is, I don't know if it was ACC officials or SEC officials, but you could tell the game was being chippy from the start, right? They met us at the bottom of the hill. I got dumped a few times on my head after the whistle blew. I think Charlie got hit a few times. So again, just people trading blows, and instead of them, controlling the game, throwing the flags, warning people, that type of stuff, they just kind of let it go on. So what happened during the fight was, I'm trying to think who the quarterback was. It wasn't. Oh my gosh, I think his name. He's in Columbia now.
We'll fact check that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of his name. He owns a gym in Columbia now. The only thing I remember about that game with the players, Corey Boyd had a tongue ring. I remember that vividly. I was like, why this dude got a tongue ring?
That was early, man.
Yeah. But we still joke about it to this day. I was like, Corey Boyd had a tongue ring, man. That's crazy. But yeah, the quarterback now. So Savell Newton, that's who the quarterback was.
Newton. Yeah. He was an athlete, though. He was an athlete.
Yeah, he was a crazy athlete, man. So he was a quarterback, but I think they were it was like 4th and 10, 4th and 15, something like that. They were behind the chains, and he got hit after the play, and I think Bobby Williamson or somebody like that, maybe Gaines at the time, had said something to him, and then one of the linemen, it was 4th down. So our offense is coming on, their defense is coming on, and somebody said something, somebody laid hands on somebody, and then that was it. And the brawl just broke out. But you could tell how chippy the game was. And like I said, nobody threw any flags or anything like that. And you know, man, both teams hate week. Been talking about, you know, winning the game, playing physical, taking over at the line of scrimmage, that type stuff, man. Rough week of practice, getting after these guys. So, like I said, just kind of snowball from there. But to see some of that stuff now, when you watch that game, to see some of the stuff that was going on, and to see how the players treated, you know, Lou Holtz, and how our guys, you know, did, was just, it's kind of disgraceful. But at the same time, too, man, they had guys fighting on the sideline, throwing punches at each other, just like you, just undisciplined, man. And that's not good football. That's not football, right?
Yeah.
You know, you keep it between the lines, and you try to be as classy as possible. But when you start going after your own teammates and stuff, man, that becomes something different. So, but yeah, like I said, I had a great game. I had 3 touchdowns, 100 yards rushing, and you know, kind of overshadowed because both teams, you know, got into the brawl. Clemson was bowl eligible, could have gone to a bowl, you know. South Carolina would just dash their hopes of going to a bowl, so that was bittersweet. But yeah, it's just young kids, man, heat of battle, just, you know, being knuckleheads. So, but no, it was a great game, and I think a lot of people too, man, the passion of the game, right? It used to be we have those crazy type games, but now it's totally different. Like it's you know, you go into the stadium now, it's not like kumbaya, but it's just after, I want to say, Steve Spurrier left, Lou Holtz, Steve Spurrier left. It's just it's not as
competitive.
You're right. That's a good way of saying it. Right.
Yeah.
That's a good way of saying it. So, I mean, obviously Clemson has a lot more to play for. So, you know, like I said, college football playoffs, that type of stuff, bowl games, and you just don't see that type of aggression anymore. You know what I mean? Especially for the in-state guys. Most of the time now, you got a guy from Texas, you know, Virginia, somewhere like that hasn't been in the rivalry, you know, coming, and they find out what it is, right? They find out from what it is from the local guys, but for the most part, you just don't have all, you know, guys from South Carolina or whatever, you know, playing in this game together, and you know, like I said, the blood boiling over. So it's definitely tamed itself down a little bit.